Hi guys, Tamara is here, and today I'm going to talk you through my hamstrings and glutes workout. This was obviously an off-season workout, so the intensity was there, but I didn't do as many exercises. The first exercise I started with was an isolating exercise, which is the lying leg curls. This I used kind of to warm up the muscles, this and the other exercise that I supersetted with. I tried to go heavy enough, but obviously because it is a warming up exercise, I'm usually quite careful about the weights on the first probably 1 or 2 sets. So I supersetted it with this horizontal leg press. This leg press is a compound movement, so it works on the quads a little bit as well, obviously because you're pushing. However, it works very well on the hamstrings, and especially the hamstrings and glutes tie in. Now, as you can see, I was doing quite slow reps, focusing on the pushing movement and focusing on contracting the muscles, the right muscles, to use the right muscles for this movement. Sometimes people do exercises too fast, so they are not actually using the target muscles that they should, and therefore obviously that muscle will not improve as much as they would like. Generally speaking, I'm in the 12 to 15 reps range, and on the first 1 or 2 sets I usually don't go to failure, but after those initial warm-up sets I tend to go to failure. Now this was another superset, another isolating exercise first, which is the seated leg curl. Now the seated leg curl is probably the best isolating exercise for hamstrings, because even on the lying leg curl, once your hamstrings get a little bit tired, the glutes and the lower back kick in. However, on the seated leg curl, you can mainly only use the hamstrings. So this is a very, very good isolating exercise. So I try to get as heavy as I can, obviously, and again up to 12 to 15 rep range. And this was also a superset, and I was supersetting it with the stiff leg deadlifts, where again I try to go as heavy as I can. I don't normally keep my knees completely straight. There is a slight bend in it, but not much, so that I can focus on the glutes and on the hamstrings. So basically I pull it up with the glutes and hamstrings. As you can see, the movement is very controlled, slow and controlled. Obviously I don't want to get injured, so I'm not going to do this movement fast. And I don't recommend you do it either. Try to go as heavy as you can. This will also work on your lower back, and I find this a very good exercise for the hamstrings and glutes. The weights were reasonably heavy. I think I was doing it with the 50-pound dumbbells. Now, this was my next exercise that literally killed my glutes, and even today, this workout was yesterday, even today I can feel them on fire. And last night I was using the massage gun on them because they were really, really tired. So this exercise is the Kirsty lunges basically, and I do them with weights, but obviously if you're not that strong you can start with the body weight. I don't recommend going very heavy on this exercise because obviously you're crossing your knees, so you shouldn't put more pressure on the knees or heavy pressure on the knees. However, you don't have to. I was doing it basically with 1 plate aside, which is 20 kilos, and that was enough for, I believe I was doing it for 10 reps on each side, and focusing on crossing far over. Now, the other thing I would point out with this exercise is that you have to keep your back straight, and because we are working on the glutes and on the hamstrings, you would need to push your booty backwards. So don't try to do this exercise, these lunges, with pushing your knees forward, because then you put more pressure on your knees and on your quads. This exercise is mainly for your glutes and not necessarily the hamstrings, but it works on the hamstrings obviously and the glutes tie-in. Once you try, you will know what I'm talking about. And as I said, it is a very strong and intense exercise for glutes. I know there are other exercises for glutes as well, and I'm pretty sure that most of you girls and guys do those as well. However, if you haven't given this one a try it, because I can only recommend it. Okay, so basically this is from the other side. It's another angle, if you like, the same exercise. I usually do 3 sets of 10 reps on each side with that weight. If I go lower with the weight, then I might go up with the reps. Probably I would do up to 15, but yesterday I decided to go heavy on it, and I'm paying the price today. But that's all good. No worries there. So yes, I just switched to the other side. Again, as I said, this is a compound movement, obviously, with all the squats. Watch how I keep my chest up. I try to keep my back as straight as possible so that you don't put too much pressure on your lower back. And as I said, try to push your bum backwards and cross your knees. Cross enough your knees. So don't just step behind. You have to step across towards the other side with your legs, with your feet. I almost put down my knees actually, because I try to go as low as possible. And after this exercise, I was just doing these squats on the pendulum squat machine, and that also works mostly on the glutes and on the hamstrings. Very, very good exercise. I can only recommend. If you haven't got this pendulum squat in your gym, you can do the same exercise on the Smith machine. And what you need to do is basically put your feet forward, not below you, not under you, like how would you normally squat, but you have to put it a little bit more forward. So you sit down like you would sit down on a chair. You can actually put a bench behind you as well, and that works more on the glutes and on the hamstrings, obviously slightly on the quads as well, compound movement, but mostly on the glutes and on the hamstrings. So I hope that this workout helps you, and try some of the movements. And if you have any questions, just hit me up. Online coaching is available. Thank you.